Canada has been a little bit slower than other countries to really get into the whole FinTech game, if you will. But I don't think they've been too much slower. The adoption curve, I would say, is maybe 2-3 years behind the US. I mean, not a decade behind the US.
So in terms of the alternative financing industry in Canada, I mean, it's been around for more than a decade, but I think a lot of pundits would say that Canadians have been somewhat slow to come out of the gate in adopting or even learning about alternative financing because perhaps of reticence based on reliance on the traditional financial institution. So if you could paint a picture of how the alternative financing market has shifted in the last decade. And I know that 2M7's been around for a number of years, but you really pivoted in 2016 and took advantage of how the market was shifting. So if you could speak to that and how merchant cash advances fit into this market with the other options available as well.
So I would say a decade ago, there was basically FinTech as a whole has grown exponentially over the last decade just because of technological leaps. I would say more than financial product creativity. The data that's available today at the click of a finger is incomparable to what was available a decade ago. Ability to underwrite, ability to understand data points, ability to ingest, all that kind of stuff. So really, technology has taken a big leap, and I feel like FinTech has just gone with it. Now, Canada has been a little bit slower than other countries to really get into the whole FinTech game, if you will. But I don't think they've been too much slower. The adoption curve, I would say, is maybe 2-3 years behind the US. I mean, not a decade behind the US. So we're getting there. We also have a very different landscape. Now, I just keep saying the US just because that's A, the biggest market, and B, it's our immediate neighbor. In that the US, they have a much bigger selection of banks, and all the banks have different criteria. So there are bank financing options in the States that don't exist in Canada. So Canadians really had a pretty limited options on how to finance a business. You know, it was either go to a bank, go to your rich uncle, or just bootstrap it from the ground up. There wasn't a lot of ways to finance a growing business until, more recently. I mean, even PO financing got more popular. But yeah, merchant cash advance, I guess, really took off along with all of that. Again, I feel more Canadians learned about it. Also, the technology has really pushed the product forward, making it very useful for a lot of businesses in terms of being able to get the money the same day you apply. That's kind of unheard of in most products or in most financial products when you apply for money to get it the same day. Merchant cash advance is generally able to provide that. Again, a lot of it comes down to technology, but also to adoption, right? There's also the adoption curve, so it's been around for a long time. But the industry as a whole in Canada, I would estimate, is growing pretty significantly. And that's, again, as more businesses learn about alternative financing programs, more businesses are signing up. I know Smarter Loans does all these surveys on more and more Canadians, both in personal finance and in commercial finance, are getting more and more comfortable looking for alternative options other than the traditional old way of financing a business. So really, I think the adoption has grown, as well the product itself has been getting better over time.